Yes, Your Honor.
And you claim that she did not pay pursuant to your agreement, which was she was supposed to pay every month. You repossessed the car. She refuses to sign the title over to you, which means that the car is virtually worthless to you. And you want her to either sign the car over to you or you want the value of the car.
In addition to some rental for the time that she had it, she was renting a car.
Just a sec. I didn't ask you for the whole story.
Sorry.
That's about what your case is.
Yes.
Ms. Oak says that she was not in default of her payment, that you repossessed the car prematurely, and that she is counterclaiming for $5,000 for a whole bunch of nonsense, because she says that by the time you repossessed the car, then she didn't have a car and she couldn't get to work. She lost her job. She lost her life. She had to rent a car, which she wouldn't have had to rent if you didn't repossess the car. That's your counterclaim.
Right.
How long had you been friends?
A few months.
Where did you meet her?
Through a mutual friend.
Did you have a dating relationship?
No, we just hit it off. I felt that we were going to be very good friends. I was interested in dating her if it came down to that. If it didn't, that was fine. But shortly after we met, her car took a dive, and she needed a vehicle. She rented one, and over the course of about a month, she claimed she paid about $3,000 for a rental. Now, I thought that's ridiculous. You know, I've got this money sitting in the bank. Why don't I loan you the money for a car, but get you a car. If you can pay that rental, you can pay me back. And so we went out shopping for a car. We found one we really liked, and she was supposed to have half to a third of the money within a week from her father, who was going to help her with it. That never materialized.
When was the car purchased?
The car was purchased on December the 4th. On December 5th...
Shh. Listen to me, Mr. Clark. I work much better when I ask the questions.
Okay.
Purchased the car on December the 4th. Now, Ms. Oaks, it was your agreement that payments were going to be made directly to Mr. Clark.
Yes, it was.
In what increments?
A minimum of $200 per month by the 15th of each month, beginning in January.
And you made a written agreement with regard to that?
Yes.
I'd like to see the written agreement.
Well, this is the original.
All I want to see is the original agreement that you signed with him.
Your Honor? Sorry.
You know, Miss Oaks, I don't like it when somebody plays cute with me, because it suggests that you think that you are smarter than I am. And he knows that that's a very dangerous thing to do, because it is highly unlikely that that's true. You have a typed agreement, and your typed agreement says that the money is to be paid on the 15th of each month. Yours has, in your handwriting, starting in January.
Because we had a verbal...
I'm speaking.
Okay, so this case appears to be a very fascinating one, because it seems as if this lady here takes just Judy for a fool. Because how can you state that an agreement started in January when it was actually written in your own handwriting? And then from the looks of what happened in this case, they were friends. At least they were not dating. But someone is definitely making up stories in the courtroom, because now we have Judge Judy, who said that the lady is counterclaiming for losing a lot of things, including her life, which I found really, really funny. But we're here to come to the end of this particular case, because it seems to me like the man is going to be jumping while he leaves the courtroom, or maybe not, because we've not seen all the evidence. But let's keep going to see what actually happened.
His copy doesn't have that. Mr. Clark says that you didn't make the payment in December. He waited until the first week in
January.
And he took the car back because you had breached the agreement. Your defense is that according to your agreement, it wasn't supposed to start until January 15th. So therefore, you were not late in your payment. But you wrote that in, and it's not in his contract.
That was to our verbal agreement. Those were my personal
You don't
notes.
have a verbal agreement other than that which is contained within the four corners of this contract. Who's got the title?
I do, Your Honor.
Can I see it, please? When did you first ask her for the money, sir?
I'd been hitting her up ever since we got the car, because the money from her father was supposed to come in, and She did tell me that her uncle had died.
That's not true.
Her parents were coming into town, and when I asked her for money, she said, well, they spent all the money on airfare. I don't know how much is going to be there, da-da-da-da-da. Well, the uncle wasn't part of our agreement.
Before we go any further, I want each of them to sign the title to the car so that when I make a decision, it's all signed off on. He under his, she under hers, and then give it back to me. And then I'll take it back, Bert. After she signs it, I'll take it back. On what date, Mr. Clark, did you take possession of the car?
It was on the 10th of January, and I was assaulted in doing so.
How were you assaulted, sir?
She came out, I put a club on it because she was blocked in, so I couldn't get the car out. She came out, when she saw the club, she became irate, saw me in the parking lot next to me and started yelling at me. And I walked over, tell her she's late, she's default on the loan. And that's when she turned around and cold cocked me. Her ring caught my cheek, drew blood. At that point, I figured...
Did you file a police report?
No, I did not.
Why not?
I was at the desk to do it, and the police called on my cell phone. I answered it. They asked me to come back to the scene. I went back there. I asked to have her arrested. They wouldn't arrest her. They told me they were going to arrest me. And I explained to them it was my vehicle. We spoke to the watch commander. Watch commander told them that they can't arrest me.
Now, would you give this, please, to Mr. Clark? Now, Ms. Oakes, I'm going to hear your counterclaim.
In rebuttal to what he has said here, first of all, I offered that day when he came to my office.
You mean on the 10th of January?
Exactly. Caused a total scene. My boss was the one who called the police.
Okay.
Because of his reaction.
Now,
I offered him that day to pay him $500. He would not accept my money.
Ms. Oakes, he had contacted you prior to that to make a payment in December. And if you had the money, why didn't you make the payment in December?
Because he did not ask me for the money at that time. And as far as I was concerned...
What did he ask you for? Shh. What did he ask you for when he contacted you in December?
Do you want to go to lunch?
Is that true?
That's an absolute lie.
Okay, let's hear the rest of your counterclaim.
As a result of him taking the car, I've had to incur rental fees for
Well, you
the car.
had rental fees before that.
Yes, I had.
So that even prior to this, you were renting a car. It's not as if you sold a car in order because he gave you the money for this car. Do you understand what I'm saying to you?
Yes. At the time that he came to me with this offer of buying the car, I had another option. I chose not to go with that option, which was...
which was what?
To get a car with somebody else.
What do you mean, get a car? Why don't you get a car by yourself?
A family was going to loan me their car.
Ms. Oakes, grow up. You have a car now?
No, I don't.
Oh, get one.
Yeah, I'd like to if I had the money.
Get one.
But I've lost my job.
What do you want from him?
Because of him, I lost my job. Because I don't have a car to go to and from work and to do the responsibilities I have throughout the day at my business.
Why don't you rent
Because he gave me no notice whatsoever and took my car out of the parking lot.
You just said, listen to me.
Because I lost my job.
Ms. Oakes, I'm
salary
speaking. Don't speak over me. How much did the rental car cost you for the month prior, from November 5th to December 5th? How much did it cost you?
A couple $1,000s total.
Well, he just saved you a couple of $1,000s by not having to rent a car for that entire month.
The reason he chose to bring this up to me and offer me this deal was because I had turned in the rental car that I had previous to this because I could no longer afford it. That was what happened.
How old are you? How old are you, my dear?
32.
32. Take care of yourself.
I'm
Mr.
trying.
Clark, you now have the title. You can now go and sell the car. Do you understand?
Thank you, Your Honor.
Probably have to sell it at a little bit of a loss. It'll teach you, you know, you got to think with your brain, this part of your body,
I realize
not any
that.
other part of your body. Do you understand?
Okay, so Judge Judy can be the clown sometimes. So this case was a really funny one because, I mean, I could barely get the gibberish the lady was saying because she was just saying things and then going back again and then making herself look like the stupid one in the courtroom because the man has his evidences, he has the papers, and she just has verbal agreements because you can't say there's a verbal agreement when there's a contract that exists and then you breach that contract and now you're trying to countersue even though he saved you a couple of bucks, $1,000 if I'm not mistaken. But do you think that the man is actually wrong in this case? Because honestly, I think justice was actually served. And yes, like Judge Judy said, he should think with his brain and not with any other part of his body. See you guys on the next courtroom case.